is going to happen down there. But on the main stage, we've got Complexity versus Optic Gaming. Can Optic go on a miraculous run yet again to lift a trophy? It all starts here.
Optic Gaming are going to have to come from deep to get all the way back to the grand finals. A lot of teams are going to be there along the way. A long, long ladder to climb. And the same thing for Complexity, who do not want to head out in this top 12 position. They have hopes, they have aspirations of more. Unfortunately, they're up against the green wall. It's shields up, it's weapons up. We're on board with Renegade.
Are Optic Gaming going to come into this one fiery and ready to punish any team they come across here? Or is there any element of maybe dejection after the being sent down by Shopify Rebellion? It certainly looks like they are coming into this one with full pedal to the floor. Bound actually gets a shot onto Sparty as well. We were speaking how this sniper is going to be a big influence on this first game. And it's going to be Bound who gets the first opportunity to provide us with some entertainment.
There's a concern as well, sniper rifle, and a lot of progress made in this hill. Only question is, what way did the camouflage go? It almost doesn't matter because this one's been so easy. Plain sailing. Lqgend has not even had a kill, an assist, or a death until now, and they've already got the first hill in the books.
Complexity were kind of scattered, looking to try and take some control on the map, and all the meanwhile, Optic were just sat comfortably in the hill, and now Optic can transition to the second hill very easily. Renegade's already waiting in it, and they're already pinning Mental back into green here. He will wait for his shields and does catch Formalau, so nice patience from Mental to try and do something to change up where this second hill is going to be going.
Is it a case that Optic Gaming are just a little bit miffed after that last result? The bear has been poked one too many times. Mental trying to prioritize staying alive. Grenades coming down, and he had a sliver of help, but it wasn't long before another bit of splash damage tagged him along the way. Avucy dives back tower along with Lqgend. So Cherished now repulses back tower. Some shots come from Formal. Renegade's there too. Doesn't seem to matter where he moves, somebody's waiting for him.
Everyone had eyes on Cherished, but has he done enough to allow the rest of the team to step up? He knew he had to do something with his death, and he at least was able to take a lot of eyes towards them. So Complexity do take a little bit of space, but it doesn't look like it matters. Mental's being spotted out, and he will be traded as well. And all the meanwhile, Optic is still scoring here. Mental trying his best with 6 kills, by the way, but just doesn't seem to help him right now.
It seemed to be a very clear strategy from Optic Gaming as well. Have one player sit mud watching those pillars, have the guy nest, you have two players watching one line of sight. Very good from them, and almost have this hill captured. Lqgend went back tower, but here's a chance now for Complexity. But how good will their hold be? That's the question. And unfortunately for them, camouflage is coming up at possibly the worst time.
And Mental tries to get aggressive, which is the right thing to do here. He's done the damage and does manage to convert one of the kills alongside it, but it looks like Bound's going to escape with the camouflage. Oh, it's not. He doesn't have the camouflage, excuse me. It's Formal who grabbed it in the end. But this hill is a very difficult one to hold, and the fact that there is so long to do so from Complexity, likelihood is this is going to go in Optic's favor.
Spartan's just forced to give this, but no, waiting for his teammates to spawn back up over towards Mud. Mental is there, but 2-0 now to score. Very easy for Optic. You move to Hill 3 in-house. Complexity do have the spawns there now. Cherished going to be the one in the hill. Renegade's with the sniper rifle. He got a little pixel, so he knows there's a player over towards window. Shot will just tag the wall, which means the bullet will fire over towards the camo side, thanks to the ricochet that's been in the most latest update. 3 go down for Complexity. Optic just break these setups so easily.
Too easily as well, I'd feel. Oh! Renegade's just happy to fly around and put the sniper to use. The fact that Complexity have not been able to keep that sniper rifle out of Optic's hands has been a big difference in this early lead for them. They're almost 3 to the good, halfway to it now.
Oh, goodness me. Renegade with the fadeaway headshot with the sniper rifle. 4 go down for Complexity. You speak about wanting to have a great start, how important this map 1 was going to be. Complexity needed it far more than Optic did, and it's just one-way traffic so far.
I have just, well, that's a triple, I think, on the other side. Is it a little bit too late? It is. And sadly, you committed quite a lot towards the next hill. That are you in the position for the following one? Optic are going to be there first. You can see Formal's just kind of waiting to see if he can bait anyone into it, but Complexity seemed to be wise to it.
don't know why, but anytime I imagine Formal's Spartan outline, I always imagine that he has a cap on.
Enemy team.
Formal drops in, puts down damage, gets a kill. Bound is there as well. That patience is paid off now for Formal. Spartan trying to control tower for his team, but he gets cleared out immediately. Now Optic have control once more. Next cap wins for them. So the impetus is completely on Complexity to make some plays. They have to take risks, and that's exactly what Optic Gaming wants.
Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but from what I've seen so far, it's very unlikely Complexity are going to get back into this game. Optic have controlled it far too comfortably. Whether it be getting these camouflages consistently, or it's how smooth they move around the map together. Even though Complexity have got some kills on the board now and starting to get closer to their first point, the clock does start to be their enemy the further we get into this one as well. Of course, it is not impossible, but Optic just look like they know how to control a hill when they do have it.
Bound over on dummies.
Enemy about to
Avucy still top tower doing a lot of damage, but needs a little bit of help here. He's got a lot of Optic members in his crosshairs. Cherished and Spartan get a couple of kills. Lqgend gets one on the mental. Perfect drop down from Avucy. 3 dead now. Renegade last man standing for his team. And he's positioned top tower. He gets taken care of. This is the moment. This is the opportunity for Complexity.
Yeah, it has to be here and now. It has to be grabbing this hill and the sniper, most importantly. And then someone needs to be popping off. Was it Spartan who got it in the end? If it was, then that could be good news. No, it was Cherished. It's his opportunity to start putting some bullets, at least toward the body of these players on Optic Gaming. As 3 go down, it's a 1v1 on the map. Cherished versus Formal. And that next hill being top mid means that this is going to be a tough one for Complexity to try and convert.
Cherished just wide at the worst possible time. He sensed Formal was around him, but
enemy team took the hill.
lack of patience. Formal capitalizes on it.
Oh.
First shot, the swing and a miss for Formal. You don't get many of them, so make him pay, Spartan. Perhaps contemplate chasing them bottom middle. Spartan thinks the better of it, probably for good reason. Cherished is there, gets bodied, but manages to clean up the kill. Renegade's gonna chase that one bottom middle now, all the way through Rat Hole. A nade spins, a beautiful prediction nade from Cherished. But he doesn't stay there and wait. He rotates, he has to look towards the hill, forced to. That's so good now for Optic Gaming. Because they can just bait, they can play time. Every single time they get a couple of kills, they make it difficult. They eat away at that clock. And they've already got so much progress in this hill now. They can take their time. They can afford a few mistakes. 1 minute and 45 on the clock now.
And key thing here for Optic Gaming is just slowly trying to work your way over towards tower again. See if you can take control of it, because that will win the game for you ultimately. Just bully the other team over towards sandbags and then get the reward of the rest of the hill. By doing so, you can also try and delay this clock a little bit more as well, but Optic gonna have to go the hard way around through the green side. Cherished gonna have to do a lot of work with his camouflage.
3 shots at the bound. Lqgend sitting pretty over towards Nest. Bound needs help, it's not gonna come.
Enemy
Complexity are still inside this hill, and Optic seem quite happy just to let it go. Lqgend hasn't moved in quite some time. Maybe he's just been waiting for his shields to come back for so long.
enemy team.
There goes his shields once more, stripped away. Cherished gets the kill, tries to get away down towards pillars. Formal's inside the hill, forced bottom middle instead.
It took a long time for Optic to get there, but they did eventually get round towards tower side, but now Complexity are fighting back. And when I said it was unlikely, it's suddenly maybe possible here. 3-2. Tell you what, this has been a huge swing of events in favor of Complexity.
Enemy team
Been forcing Optic Gaming into awkward positions off their spawn. Just like that, maybe they'll make me eat my words here.
Spartan's back green. Is there still life in the old dog?
Enemy team
Trying to stay alive. Avucy was going to fall. Cherished is also going to join him. It's a 2v2 on the map. Mendel's there. Gets the win. Formal's going to slide in and try to be an influence. Try to be a nuisance. Spartan cuts him away. Lqgend gets a double kill. Now what's the play call? Are we going to play this hill? Are we going to give Complexity more of a chance? Or will we just play Slayer and try play time?
Because even though I said the clock wasn't necessarily on Complexity's side, one thing they had was Optic did score those initial points so quickly that there was more time than usual, for sure. Still, 1 minute isn't the perfect scenario to be in, but at least they're within touching distance here. Spartan, last remaining player, though, does at least catch out Formal. But he has to be patient. Complexity at least have another push or 2 here.
Optic are going to play time. Complexity have to be aware of this. Formal's got the kill. Spartan's gonna try and push in now. Formal down to no shields. Gets the kill. Made to work for it though. But they are so far away from the hill. That's exactly where Optic Gaming want them to be. Bound gets a pick over towards the window. He finally gets taken care of. Good riddance, say Complexity. We head to now the final 20 seconds.
Renegade's got the sniper as well. Oh, look at that. Sniper and QT. Doesn't manage to connect with those, so Cherished will push in and Complexity will have their chance now. And maybe putting some time on the board. Spartan has to win this fight though, gets the trade.
Mental's there. He's got his feet inside the hill, but he has to stay there. All three dead. Mental needed to hit the world. He got a kill on the Formal, but it's not enough. Legend's just gonna watch the time dwindle away. And Optic Gaming will claim game one. They'll draw first blood, one up in the series.
And I will say, I didn't think it was likely Complexity were going to go back into this one, but they did really give it their best shot and showed that maybe this isn't going to be as much of a pushover as Optic may have thought in those early stages. Just took a little bit of time to wake up, perhaps, going into this one. Just took getting on top, gaining a little bit of control of the map and trying to ruin some of those spawns for Optic. They staggered them a little bit and Optic were a little bit hesitant as to where they were going to push round. When they had half of the top middle hill, they were really trying to work to get on the sniper side of the map, but I think Complexity were wise to it. They were almost just waiting for them to be there. All the meanwhile, they were slowly trickling away with those points in the hill.
Optic Gaming grind out a result. Taking a look at the stats, we spoke about how important Mental was going to be, and he done his best. 23, 16, and 6 for his team. But on the opposite side, Formal, 21, 17, and 8. So often the point of difference for his team. Legend there as well. 6,469 damage for Formal. But look at Mental again, 7k for his squad. Both players having a very good game, but it's Optic Gaming that come out on top.
Yeah, so Mental was going to be the key player for Complexity, but he, right from the get-go, he was the one who was putting damage on the board, getting kills as well. Arguably kept Complexity in it in the early stages, but then the rest of the team started to catch up a little bit. Mental, I think, lifted them up with some of the multi-kills he was able to get. But it was really the early pressure and the early points that won this one for Optic. It gave them the flexibility to play for time. I think maybe opted not to go for time earlier on the top middle hill. Maybe they could have just won that one with 5-4, but it was an intelligent and smart decision to just play what was in front of them and force Complexity to try and make some sort of play. So it does mean that Optic will continue their unbeaten record on live fire King of the Hill. 3-0 across 2 events, and maybe they'll get to play it a couple more times this event as well.
Up next, it's going to be Aquarius Slayer. Is this the moment where Optic pull away or Complexity roar back into life? Because Optic Gaming, Dan, that one wasn't pretty. The first 2 hills were pretty comfortable, but after that it was slow and methodical, and almost caught themselves. Gave Complexity an opening, gave them an opportunity. But now, with Aquarius on the horizon, Dan, tell me who's the player to watch for Complexity if they're going to get themselves back into the series?
I mean, Mental again, just purely off of what he was able to do in that one. Slayer Aquarius is typically a very good one for Optic Gaming. They're 2-0 at the moment from Arlington and into this event, so not a crazy 100% record, but still something to go off. As for Complexity, they're 2-1. Of course, team changes does change the entire dynamic, that's for sure. In terms of Slayers overall, it is usually Mental who does put up the highest KD for the squad and seems to be the one who puts a lot of damage down, but interestingly, it's likely Spartan, the one who actually gets the most kills per minute for this team. So again, I think it's Mental and Spartan. I think I said the same names for the last one as well, and that's no disrespect to the other 2 players, of course. They are going to play a very key part if they're going to come back into this series.
I think the concern was that in that last game, Mental did perform very well. Spartan had a game to forget. Hope to have that one back, and you know, when he underperforms, there's nobody harder on himself than him. Game 2 is on the way then, we're loading in. On board with Bound, over towards the P side. He's going to pick himself up a thrust, but unfortunately for him, he uses it a little bit too soon, and that means Avucy can get himself a pretty routine kill.
Optic are very good at setting the pace when it comes to Aquarius. They'll speed it up when they need to. They'll also slow it down if they have to. It'll be very frustrating to go up against them. Because similarly to what they do on other maps, they'll either have a couple of players, sometimes 3 players on one side, and then they'll just let that other player off the leash and allow them to roam and cause mayhem. Whether that's Renegade, whether that's Bound, whether that's Lqgend, whether it's Formal, it does not matter. They all have the capability to go off on their own, really wreak havoc.
Speaking of on their own, Renegade last live for his team. Fortunately for him, he does have the camouflage. Funnily enough, Cherished used that threat seeker just to clear out the locker, but unfortunately for him, it was the camouflage player who was standing behind him. Renegade, like the Predator, turns his attention towards P-side. Couple of bursts, good enough to back down one player. Get aggressive on the Spartan. Killing spree locked in for the Demon. Driving towards the fridge, but gets shut down.
So many players would have used that grenade as a defensive one. They would have grenaded, they would have backed off, but he knows he can follow that damage because if the grenade hits, it's going to be an easy cleanup. So good play from Renegade.
3 dead once more for Optic. Cherished gets his shields back. Heads towards the closet. That's exactly where Optic Gaming are going to be spawning. 3 shots at the Bound. He's also received a few ticks of damage as well. He's going to be forced to back away. He knows the bait and switch is only a matter of time.
I think Cherished has a point to prove as well at this tournament. Of course, losing his spot on the TSM roster, perhaps unfairly, maybe he'll feel. Certainly looking at the team, it was unclear where the real problem was. When he lands on his feet, finds himself on Complexity. Seeing TSM go on to at least achieve top 6 and maybe even top 3, that's going to be frustrating for him, of course. So perhaps he can be one of the reasons to maybe bring Complexity back into this game against Optic as well. They're 14-9 in favor of them at the moment. It would settle the nerves a little bit to get one map, for sure.
And there is always that little thing when you get dropped by a team, and no matter how friendly you remain with those players, you're rooting against them for the first tournament or two, hoping that they don't see instant success. And fortunately for Cherished,
where was I the problem?
well, yeah, hang on a minute, they might have had a point actually. But no. Cherished performing admirably this game, 6-4-3. And you can do it against Optic Gaming, you can do it against anybody. Lqgend's gonna scoop himself up a thruster pack. Over on the P side once more. Waiting for information from his team, waiting for some damage before he decides to move. Playing this one very patiently. Bound gets a kill. That's Lqgend's key and cue to move. Cherished is gonna fall as well. He just sits patiently waiting for players to drop where he knows they're going to. Pushes these 2 players over the P side, immediately recognizing there's 2 guns training him. Great game awareness to get himself out of trouble, but only for a moment.
6-kill lead, and I think that Optic are really trying to slow this one down because they're recognizing Complexity are starting to take advantage of them getting stuck in the base a little bit. They're trying to lay that trap, lay that foundation with a player like Lqgend, for example, just to shoot them in the back, and then they all ambush at the same time. Great shots from Formal. Look at this flood from Optic Gaming, all on the same side. Swarming towards Complexity here.
They tried it a couple of times. This time it seems to be a little bit more successful. They have Complexity on the back foot, sliding back over towards Fridge, almost completely trying to avoid the gunfights. Knowing they're down in shields, Formal spins around, hits Spartan in the face. And one bandit shot was good enough to get the kill. Entel's down on the P side. Renegade's going to drop there. Great bait and switch, great awareness from each other. Optic Gaming's teamwork starting to heat up, and now within 2.
Yeah, it must be frustrating when you have a significant lead against Optic and then suddenly you find yourself only a couple ahead. Start to ask yourself, really, how have we allowed them to get back into this one? Now Renegade just needs a bit of help.
Cherished with camouflage then. Chance to push his team further into the lead. 5-kill advantage. Formal's isolated in the fridge. Cherished getting shot in the back. Good comms from Formal. Cherished will get the kill, or at least help to get the kill before ultimately getting taken down. So not a lot of value extracted from that camouflage, but just enough. Keep this one a 3-kill game.
3-kill game. Complexity still having the lead, but Optic's starting to worm their way back in this one. Let's see if Complexity can hold them off. It's going to enlist him with Complexity's side.
Bottom mid.
Reset, guys, reset.
Yeah, I'm absolute. What? Death camp? I'm death camp, but I'll stand.
Yo, pushing shrooms and pushing Peter.
down.
He's doing the window jump,
Renegade, 3 shots down our shrooms. 3 shots down our shrooms, jumping up our bridge.
Hound is gonna kill me. Front blue.
Yeah, you're good.
Top blue weak, Lqgend.
Alright, I have death camp. He's going blue P jump.
Play around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about
you're good.
one's car 3. There's 2 P side. 2 P side going P2.
Looking your pre, I'm looking your pre. I have an 8.
They like to go car side. Have Burberry's one.
We have 30 on camo.
You're good, you're good.
They don't know. They don't know you're there. They don't know you're there.
Yo, one speed two.
Bridge.
He's half. One shot.
There's two here. Two here.
There's a guy there. Three.
Yo, two here.
He's in the window, guys.
Wait.
I got shrooms.
Room to you.
Tom in. Tom in. Can we look P-door?
One's underneath the jump. One's underneath the jump. I got damage on the jump.
Yo, one shot cutting. One shot cutting. One shot cutting.
There's two Peter.
Dead to P-door. There's two. Two flag.
Camo is up in 10 seconds. There's a guy going our shrooms to our jump bridge right now.
I'm just going to car one to blue brick.
Camo on 5.
You see me?
Car 1. Formal. He's broke car.
Flank you, Billy. Please, we can
Blue pit
fire.
Yeah, we know he's P2. P2.
He went
down, yeah.
I got formal. Nice.
Went down to P2. Camo, guys. This is
Your
huge.
front base, Joey. Your front base.
So difficult when Optic just absolutely swarm you and surround you like that. You can see Complexity backs against the wall, trying to throw grenades, trying to get damage down. Even though communication seems positive, they now find themselves 7, make it 8 kills behind Optic Gaming. And are they seeing Game 2 start to slip through their fingers a little bit here?
They've been relentless. Some of the pushes have been a thing of beauty. Just overpowering Complexity in the base. Baiting and switching, doing so much damage, but more importantly, just not even losing a life in some of these pushes. What was a close game? What was at one point a 7-kill advantage for Complexity is completely flipped now. And it's Optic Gaming who head into this endgame in much the better position.
Got to try and flip a 7-kill difference now, make it an 8-kill difference. Be very tough against an Optic Gaming who are so ruthless with their attacks, like you were mentioning. Really is just demonstrating how good their teamwork is, that they are all on the same page and coordinated with their attacks. Complexity do get a couple of kills going in their favor though. They close that gap to 5. Have been able to kind of force the Optic Gaming players back into Gen a little bit here, and they're trying to surround them themselves.
Just chewing them up and spitting them out right now. Actually gets another kill. They only require 2. Complexity, they're all going to spawn on the opposite side of the map. They're going to try and get out on this car side. Spartan's been trapped and isolated in the base though on the shroom stairs, taking a lot of damage. Mental's going to try and help him. Cherished over on the car side as well. He gets taken down by Renegade. One more kill then. Legend's not going to get it. Legend's going to get shut down, but it comes elsewhere. And Optic Gaming, 2 up now against Complexity. Complexity then, Dan, 1 map loss away from elimination from this tournament.
Sadly, the game type that follows, I would argue, is Optic Gaming's best. So it is not looking good for Complexity. It'll be another disappointing tournament. A lot of their players' eyes, how far they think they can go and what they think they can achieve as well. But sadly, when you see these giants fall into the elimination bracket, it's so difficult to try and go up against them. But there is still hope. Still have games here. It is not done, and I think that's going to be the main communication going between these players on the side of Complexity right now. It's not over until it's over. We've shown that we can come back into games when we're behind. We can show that we can take them down. We can lead. We can be ahead. They were ahead in that Slayer. However, I think Optic are showing why they are the current reigning champions.
There seems to be a gulf in class at the moment. You're watching that Slayer, Dan. There's moments you're thinking, it's like you're just threading water, Complexity, desperately trying to stay afloat, and eventually you're going to run out of stamina and the ocean's going to take you. And that's what Optic Gaming are at times. They're just the ocean.
I think there was too many times that Complexity got caught in their base and they didn't push out. They kind of waited, hoped that Optic were going to run past and maybe they could shoot them in the back, and Optic smelled them out. And as soon as they caught that whiff, they were ready to pounce. Wanted to take them down, and you said it. Chew them up, spit them out, and let them respawn and go again. As soon as there was a 5 to 6 kill lead for Optic Gaming, there was no real looking back. Even here, right? Bound's kind of in a position where he starts to get surrounded, but he's so aware of where Complexity may be. Just a couple of nades to swing things back in his favor as well. Just heads up play. And Optic Gaming now 1 away from moving to Elimination Bracket Round 2, guaranteeing themselves top 8 and setting themselves up maybe, just maybe, a matchup with SSG for top 6. Could happen. Could happen, depending on what happens with the result, of course, on SSG's side. But Opal Recharge is where we're heading for map 3.
We are hearing SSG series is just starting, so maybe these two teams are locked in and ready to clash. Maybe Destiny has chosen them, but a lot of work to do for SSG. Their tournament has not been going the way they would have liked, they would have hoped. Same thing can be said for Complexity here. find themselves up against the giants of Optic Gaming, one of the HCS's superpowers. It just looks like, for the moment, they don't have the firepower to take down the green wall.
There's a 4-0 record for Optic Gaming when it comes to recharge ball, which is not good news for Complexity fans. I think I've already made that very evident. So who are we looking at on the side of Complexity for Oddball? Again, I'm going to say Mental's name. It doesn't matter if it's Oddball time you're looking at, damage, kills per minute, or just KD. Mental is the one whose name seems to be leaping off the page when it comes to those statistics. But perhaps that means we should be looking at someone else. Maybe I want to see Avucy, maybe I want to see Cherished actually have that big game, or maybe Spartan can have that pop-off moment where suddenly he's roaring across the main stage. Because even though, yes, this is Optic Gaming's best game type, or one of their best game types, if then you beat them on it, that does give you that confidence and that belief of, okay, maybe they do bleed. Maybe we can take them down.
Mental is a known entity. It's time for the 3 members of Complexity that sit next to him to step up into this moment, or they will be going home. On board with Complexity then, with Mental. You watch the camouflage, Optic Gaming play it perfectly. They use the shroud screen, they put it down, they scoop up the camouflage. They get themselves out of danger. Like you say, Optic Gaming's so good at oddball. There's not a lot they're not very good at. Typically it was the Slayers of the past, but they've already beaten them in the Slayer. For Complexity, is it only a matter of time now before they get themselves eliminated? Or is there a Cinderella story still to be had here? It's been David versus Goliath, and Goliath's been winning time and time again.
Often Renegade is the player for Optic Gaming when it comes to Oddball, who is a statistical anomaly, often putting up over 0.5 extra KD over any of his teammates as well. It's not like he does it without ball time. That's the crazy thing. He's happy to grab that ball when it arrives at his path. He's the one who has the shock rifle, and he's just waiting to see if anyone's going to walk into his reticle here.
Sitting on bat ledge.
Enemy has the ball.
Ball gets tossed up. Great play. Great communication. Great teamwork. The Frenchman throws it up to Renegade. Formal gets a kill over towards Elevator.
It was good because they noticed Complexity were pretty static. Complexity were avoiding the shock rifle, and they said, well, we don't really need to move because they don't have the ball right now. So just utilizing the Shroud to make sure that they can get that ball, and even though 3 members of Optic have gone down, look at how much time has been achieved already. And you get the spawns with you.
Renegade's had a pretty easy time of it so far as well. Barely had to shoot that shock rifle. Because of how hesitant Complexity were to step into it. Such is the fear that some of these players can put into you. You know if they have the shock rifle, they can really take over the game. It's 27 seconds, no having to fight too hard for it. Renegade's almost completed a full rotation and Cherished, he gets taken care of. Camouflage is going to pop up, and the game looks so easy through the POV of Renegade. He makes it look so easy. Gets in a fight with a player bottom tower. This kill looks like it's going to go his way, and it does. Killing spree locked in. Complexity just do not have an answer. They're trying to throw numbers at it. They're trying to put resources into it. But Optic Gaming just have a response every single time.
Renegade's decision-making is just flawless at times. Knew he didn't want to rush towards that kill because he was probably going to trade it. If he did, instead utilizes his grenades. Eventually gets shut down, but I mean, already 9 kills on the board. I think damage has been done in the early stages of this oddball game. And when you've got someone playing that way, where they can just kind of prance around the map freely and get kills, the rest of the team just has so much freedom to take space and take angles as well. If not to assist, it's to get towards the objective. It's to move the ball around. It's to start thinking about the camouflage, the next shock rifle, for example. It's so nice when you are on a team and you are playing alongside some of the best to do it. Triple kill for Renegade. He is on fire.
Ball dropped. Enemy has the ball.
Optic Gaming are going to need him to stay on fire for these next few series. It's going to be a long night. There'll be a lot of teams to put to the sword. But so far, it's been so easy against Complexity. Shock Rifle continues to tag them up. Renegade tries to run down gold stairs to close the distance to Mental, but ultimately a couple of grenades fall at his feet. Formal's going to try and get a trade. The grenade might just get it. No, the answer's Absolutely not.
Enemy has
Spartan
the
gets a couple
ball.
of kills. They break the setup finally, but 84 seconds. There's so much work to do for Complexity in round 1.
This camo is going to be whisked away as well by Lqgend.
Ball dropped.
That will mean they're going to have the
Enemy
perfect
has the
opportunity
ball.
to break any setup that might be available here for
dropped.
Complexity, and
Enemy
Spartan's
has
going to be
the
the
ball.
first target because he is alone.
Ball dropped.
Lqgend says, you know what, screw the camouflage. Oh, but Spartan does
Enemy
reply.
has the ball.
Maybe
Ball
Lqgend
dropped.
just a little bit antsy there. Could have perhaps been a bit more patient.
Lqgend can make plays like that, such as the advantage they have for the moment. They can take risks. They won't be punished too much so far. Both players settle for a trade.
Ball dropped. Enemy
Ball's
has the
been
ball.
dropped and the rotation's coming from Spartan. He
Ball
knows
dropped.
they have got to try and
Enemy
keep
has
this
the
ball
ball.
as safe as they can. He's going to try and rotate it towards his fresh spawners. The issue
Enemy
is
has the ball.
his team are not coming to spawn over towards pipes. Instead it was long haul. Avucy's over towards bottom tower. Formal's behind him. He drops out to try and stay alive over towards single stacks, but ultimately gets taken care of by the Frenchman. Ball's back in no man's land. With 2 minutes on the clock and it's starting to dwindle down. The world is Optic Gaming's oyster right now. They can play this
Enemy has the
any way
ball.
they want.
So much trust in this Optic roster as well. I mean, they're happy to turn their back on a fight if they see that their teammate is in the same area.
Ball
They're
dropped.
closing in on this first round now, but we'll just toss the ball out because there's a little bit of pressure coming from Complexity. When Renegade was trying to kind of cut off Spartan, he just turned his back over towards White because he was like, well, I know Formal's there. So it's going to go one of two ways. He either gets that kill, or at least I die and then he gets the kill afterwards because the guy's looking at me, you know? It's a lot of trust between the 4 players.
Ball dropped.
Lqgend tried to end the round. Cherished picks up 2. Extends the round a little further. But is he just holding off the inevitable now? The Optic Gaming machine seems to be finding its form. The gears are flowing. They're spinning, they're turning. Spartan dies on C-plat. Avucy will answer back in anger. Renegade is there. Hands on ball now for Lqgend once again. The final seconds tick down. And Optic Gaming are going to take round 1.
Round 1 is achieved, and it means they're 1 round away then from progressing in this elimination bracket and waiting for a potential match with SSG, which would mean either Optic Gaming or SSG would be finishing at top 8 at this tournament. That's if SSG get to that round. Obviously, I'm not going to say anything because they have only just started their matchup, so I don't know how it's going over there. So I don't want to make any presumptions, but the expectation would be SSG would get there, of course, as the higher seed. You don't want Renegade to get this shock rifle, so Spartan at least making sure he shuts him down.
And I will say one thing about the expectations of higher seeds is that have not gone according to plan in this tournament. Spartan's trying to turn his fortunes around. A couple of kills go his way. Camouflage getting put to work, extracting some value now. Lqgend's got the shock rifle.
Ball dropped.
What a shot would have been if the Frenchman could have hit him. Spartan, wisely enough, backs away. He's done enough damage here
Enemy has
for
the
his teammates to capitalize on. Renegade's going to slide towards C-plat. Spartan is there, giving the wiggles to Formal, but Formal isn't buying the bait.
ball
We're getting the
dropped.
job done. Cherished is trying to move this ball and rotate it to put some points on the board, so Complexity are scoring. Bound was the last
Ball
remaining
dropped.
player, and they know where
Enemy
he
has
is.
the ball.
So that means that Cherished can move the ball over towards blue and force Optic to try and do something different. And I like this because whatever Complexity were trying to do in the first round wasn't working for them, and we very rarely saw the ball over towards blue.
The issue is Avucy's let one player leak through. Bound gets close to the ball and he's forced to toss it off. And the thing is, I think Bound knew exactly where that player was, but was happy to take the timing and force the play ball. Heads up play from Bound,
Enemy has the ball.
knowing he didn't have to get that kill. Made that player completely irrelevant.
I think it's wise, though, if you're going up against Optic to play the blue game, because it just means you can toss that ball off. I think I said something similar earlier when we watched Optic play Opal, is that Optic are just going to be better at setting up, so they're going to be scoring more points if you just play the setup game. If you play a game where you can just toss that ball off and deny their setup and then maybe fight them for that ball off spawn, perhaps you have a better chance in this game. Camouflage is about to pop as well, but Optic Gaming saying, well, you want to play the blue game? Sure, we'll take it to you.
Bit of a blue game enjoyer myself, says Optic Gaming. Didn't send any resources really to get the camouflage, so have to keep eyes on it and see maybe who scooped it up. Matter of fact, it's still there and the resources go towards it now. Renegade's going to be the man to step to it. He's going to fall though. Bound's going to trade with Mental. Formal in the 1v1 against Cherished now. Formal's last man standing for his team. Perhaps Cherished can give that information to his teammate. Spartan will get there. The sticky grenade won't connect. Camouflage now for Spartan.
Spartan just checking every single angle and was listening to every call out as well, trying to decide how he wanted to play that one. He was going to be a big influence in this passage of play, but that ball is still on the spot. Complexity have lost one, so now Optic have the lead when it comes to players here. They're all kind of backed off, and I think that was good. They had to make sure they found that one player who was roaming.
Mental's trying to fight out of gold. Renegade's made it to Whirlpool. Avucy and Formal traded out. Cherished is going to go down before getting a kill onto Bound. 2v2 on the map now. That grenade's going to do quite a lot of damage to Mental. Can he turn the tide? The answer is no. Shock Rifle transfers control. Greenwall got their hands on it now. We've seen the Demon take over games. Couple of shots won't find the face, but able to get the kill anyway. Cherished is there on the gold steps in a 1v1 with Lqgend. Wisely backs away, but not before Formal's grenade lands right at his feet. It's a 10-second advantage here for Complexity, but Formal and Lqgend over towards gold, trying to cause ruckus. There's just a couple of guys causing some carnage in some neighborhoods.
Just two pretty chill guys over towards pipes, getting a little bit of ball time, rotating it when they need to. No big deal. I wouldn't be too worried if I was Complexity.
Mental then
Ball drop.
searching for information. Down last man alive for his team. It's a 4 dead. Renegade's the first spawner. Do they have tabs on him? He spawned over towards C. Spartan has got his second camouflage in quick succession.
Yeah, it's another camo. They've done a lot better this round. Have Complexity in ensuring they prioritize the camouflage so they can work with it. Spartan knows he needs to be pushing with the rest of the team just to try and capitalize on having it. Sadly, Bound has not only got 2 kills, but he's also got the ball, but Spartan does spot him out and will take him down, but sadly everyone else has gone down around him.
Enemy has the ball. Ball dropped.
Where, in the name of all things Formal, did that grenade come from? Has to have landed the bat ledge. What a nade that must have been. Renegade gets 2. He really shouldn't have. The ball's in no man's land, and Optic Gaming still hold that lead.
Sadly, that is the difference, isn't it? They shouldn't have got those kills. They shouldn't have hit that shot. They shouldn't have got those grenades, but they do. That is what Optic Gaming always are able to achieve. Shopify Rebellion are also guilty of it, if you want to be guilty for something like that. They just find that spectacular moment that can really swing a game in your favor.
Ball dropped.
There's a reason why you stack your deck. Formal has done that this season. 4 superstars on that team. All capable of turning a game in a series on its head. You talk about shock rifles, sniper rifles, sometimes they don't even need them. The bandit's good enough. They'll slide into your face. It's ruthless aggression. And they continue to hold this ball in pipes.
Yeah, one last push now for Complexity. Their tournament life on the line. They have been able to find a couple of openings through Mental. But are they going to get to this ball quick enough? Bound is certainly going to try and stop them in their tracks. 90 seconds on the board, 10 required as Mental last remaining player.
And the last man that can have an influence, he's not going to be able to get there, not going to be able to get close. Lqgend holds it as comfortable as you like, nurses it all the way home. And the ink is going to dry on this series as a 3-0 clean sweep for Optic Gaming.
Smiles on the faces of Optic fans. They might have been a little bit concerned as they dropped to that elimination bracket, but that is the perfect way to bounce back. They will be waiting in elimination round 2 for whomever may win. Will it be SSG? That's the real question. As for Complexity, their tournament comes to a disappointing end, I'm sure. But we know full well they will be back and firing and looking to make up for it at the next event, because just 2 big names to really fall at top 12 and not come back bigger and better. So I'm excited to see what happens next time. But whatever iteration of roster Complexity may have, I'd like to think they can stick together, work on some chemistry, work on some things that went wrong, and come back next time.
It's going to have to be a tournament of something to build upon for Complexity, as they've been ground to a halt by the Optic Gaming machine. Plain sailing. Another clean sweep for them, and they begin to put something together and maybe another elimination bracket run.
Okay, it's going to be a pretty interesting elimination bracket, looking at how it's playing out. I'm a bit nervous for that side of the bracket in particular, but you know, you can only play what's in front of you. Renegade again, 25 kills. he just seems to go into his demon mode, as you said, when it comes to oddball. On the other side, Spartan, Cherished, they did put up a good amount of damage. Avucy as well. It was actually probably Mental's weaker game out of the three. He was really the one who was stepping up in 1 and 2, but sometimes you do run out of that momentum you have behind you. But there is the confirmed results. It's Optic Gaming 3. It is Complexity 0. Lottie, Wes, I mean, I think that was the expectation, but Complexity certainly had moments where they shine.
Yeah, it certainly was an expectation out of Optic Gaming. You're hoping that they're going to come out off that kind of bounce back and be really, really strong, especially going up against a team like Complexity, who have had their struggles for sure. I've got to say, though, I'm impressed with how Complexity came out of the gates. They came out hot. They were really contesting Optic Gaming at pretty much every single point in this series. Yes, it didn't go their way at all, even any map significantly so in a series, but it was close. There's things there that are promising, really, really, you know, hard to kind of go out in terms of the finish. You know, top 12 is just not what you want if you're Complexity. You know, a very decorated roster who have been around for a long time, some experience on that team is, you know, it's invaluable, right? But Optic Gaming, they're just a different beast. And I think at the end of the day, Complexity can go away knowing that they were able to, you know, go up to that level, to actually challenge Optic. I was pretty impressed with them.
Yeah, I think they're going to be pretty upset leaving this tournament, especially with the way Arlington went as well. So far, nothing on the books for Complexity this year, and frustration definitely going to be building inside that camp. So I'm not sure what they do roster-wise, and honestly, you can blame it on luck of the draw with kind of having to play Optic here in a series for top 8, but I mean, at some point, you just got to have better expectations or higher expectations for yourself, no matter who you're matching up against. You had plenty of chances in pool play, couldn't find really much going on there either. So frustration on the side of Complexity, but for Optic Gaming, their resiliency here, that's something that they can move forward with. I know it wasn't a dominant series from Optic, as some might have expected, but to lose in the way, in the fashion you did to Shopify, and then to not even move your setups, not even like unplug your controller before being asked to go right back into a series against a team with their backs against the wall like Complexity is, at least the job gets done 3-0 fashion, and I guarantee they have their eyes set on SSG, who they're assuming is going to advance to the next round to meet them for a top 6 matchup.
I think Wes is a good point as well. At some point, Complexity have to take ownership of, we need to beat the teams that are put in front of us. We only beat the open bracket team, and of course they can count themselves lucky that they would have matched against Optic Gaming or Shopify Rebellion, but the issue is, if not them, it would have been TSM, and do they really have a better chance against TSM? Not in the current form.
No, indeed not. I will say, though, plenty of stuff to go over VOD-wise. I think just being able to even compete against the likes of Optic Gaming is for me, a W. I know they're not going to see it that way, because I think every single person they come across in terms of competition, they're going to want to beat, and I totally understand that. But I think to know that you weren't just getting blown out on every single map in that series, it's definitely something to work upon, which I'm really excited to see how they come back and bounce back in the next one as well.